Now on WKRG News 5.
Tornado warnings, heavy rain, and flooded roads. Quite a day for many across the Gulf Coast. Tonight, team coverage of the damage and a big inconvenience for some drivers.
The tree limbs were all over here, and the power lines were live, so I couldn't even get down the steps.
New at 5 o'clock, frightening moments for one woman as a tree comes crashing down just feet away from her, and why the tree wasn't her only problem.
We have 20-some-odd investigators busting their tails right now, trying our best to get this solved.
Plus, a major break in a 2-day-old murder in Foley.
Local coverage you can count on. You're watching WKRG News 5 at 5.
After an active morning of tornado warnings, heavy rain and damage across the News 5 area, our severe weather threat is gone. We have team weather coverage in just a few minutes. But first, we start with a big break in a homicide investigation in Foley. Good evening, everyone. I'm Devin Walsh.
And I'm Peter Albrecht. Authorities have recovered the victim's stolen SUV. We first broke this new development about 11 o'clock today with this push alert that everyone with our free News 5 app received.
News 5's Debbie Williams has been on top of the story all week. She's live in Robertsdale to tell us where they found that SUV. Debbie?
Well, that black Durango is now here at the Baldwin County Criminal Investigations Division. It is behind one of those bay doors that you see there. It was recovered overnight in Pensacola. The search now underway inside that SUV. And we've also learned some new information tonight about a tragedy in the Jeff Higginbotham's family. This isn't the first one they've had. A phone call from an anonymous tipster led police to Jeff Higginbotham's 1999 black Dodge Durango off Mobile Highway in Pensacola.
It's my understanding it was just in a parking lot. Someone has drove it up in a parking lot of a business and just left it abandoned. It was not damaged. It was not destroyed. It was just, someone drove up and walked away from it and left it there.
The SUV had been missing since Friday afternoon, according to Captain Steve Arthur.
We have a general time frame. We know about when it went missing, and we've been able to view some video footage of that already.
Investigators found video of the SUV traveling south on Highway 59 towards Gulf Shores. It will now be looked at with a fine-tooth comb for blood, hair, fingerprints, anything that will move this investigation forward. And the murder of the Army veteran found dead in his Foley apartment Tuesday morning. Authorities are also looking at several possible motives that include robbery or drugs. More clues may come from the autopsy that we're told has also been completed, although those findings have not been released. But it's that SUV investigators hope holds the answers that will break this case wide open.
We have 20-some-odd investigators busting their tails right now, trying our best to get this solved.
Ironically, this is not the first tragedy to hit Jeff Higginbotham's family. Back in 2013, we've learned that his wife, Tammy, who was living in Louisiana at the time, was also murdered in Texas. Her killer was eventually caught and sent to prison. Tonight, his killer remains on the loose. Live on the Baldwin County beat in Robertsdale, Debbie Williams, WKRG News 5.
A tragedy on the eastern shore where police believe a 3-year-old drowned in a bathtub. The child's father and emergency crews tried to save the boy but could not. News 5's Brianna Hollis has the story now from Daphne.
Police say a father who lives here on Faircloth Place put his child in the bathtub, stepped out to smoke a cigarette, and when he came back in, the child was face down in the water. The father doesn't face any charges at this point. Police do not expect any foul play, just calling this a tragic accident.
The father said that the child was, like most young boys play in the bathtub with boats or whatever. The child was playing in the tub. He decided to go outside and smoke a cigarette. Unfortunately, when he came back in, what had happened to his son had happened.
An autopsy on the boy is currently underway in Mobile. Again, police do believe this is an accident at this point, but if that autopsy does suggest otherwise, they'll take this case to the district attorney. Reporting in Daphne, Brianna Hollis, WKRG News 5.
People in several neighborhoods in Mobile are cleaning up this evening after early morning storms caused plenty of rain and wind and traffic problems. The Mobile Causeway reopened about 10:30 this morning after being closed due to flooding.
And check out the video on the right side of your screen from Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Windows were blown out of the Walmart and cars in the parking lot were damaged.
And new at 5 o'clock, scary moments for a woman in Pritchard who says she was sitting just feet away when a tree came crashing down in front of her house.
News 5's Dana Winter is live outside the woman's house on Newsom Street. Dana, tell us what happened here.
Well, Devin, Beverly Chastain Dunmore tells me she was sitting in her living room right there when the tree she grew up playing under crashed down, sprawling out across her car, and live power lines trapping her inside her home. Dunmore says besides those down power lines, when she opened her door, she saw so much debris she wasn't sure if she could get out. She called the power company and friends to come help clear a path for her. She tells News 5 the tree has withstood several strong storms over the years. That's why she says she was so surprised when she saw it topple over.
But I heard the crack. I thought it was a tree limb falling, and I looked out the window and I said, oh, my car. The tree just covered my car completely.
Dunmore says everyone inside her house is okay, but she still hasn't been able to find her 7-month-old puppy. While it may have only taken a couple of seconds for the tree to come down, tonight at 10, learn why Dunmore says it could take quite a while to get her car out from under it. For now, reporting live on Newsom Street in Mobile, Dana Winter, WKRG News 5.
Thanks, Dana. Our team weather coverage continues in Mobile. That's where people saw downed tree limbs, especially in Avista Ridge and Lansdowne neighborhoods. News 5's Bill Riles shows us the damage.
Well, here's some of the more significant damage that we found in Mobile. This is in the city of Mobile, right off Knollwood Drive on Isabel Way. You see big tree limbs here split off of this tree. Looks like an old water oak, and just crashed down really onto the house. And I can't really tell if there's any damage to this home or not, but these look like some very heavy limbs that fell down and fell on this home. There's probably a little damage to the house. We hope not much, but that's what we found so far. And that happened, neighbors say, in like a burst that happened early this morning.
Because the wind was so strong and the house was shaking, so we were just hoping it wasn't gonna, smash through the house and we were gonna have a roof on our head.
What did it sound like?
It sounded like a tornado or something, but everything was weaving and waving.
Just across the street here, you can see there are more limbs that fell as well, and the street is just littered with smaller limbs up and down just through this small area here. Again, this is Isabel Way off of Knollwood Drive. Some of the most significant damage that we found so far. Looks like a pretty good cleanup job for the neighbors who live in this neighborhood. Reporting from Isabel Way in Mobile, Bill Riles, WKRG News 5.
And it has been a wet and cloudy day. Here's the look right now at Orange Beach and at the Pensacola International Airport.
And just a reminder for you, red flags are up on Baldwin County beaches, meaning the water is closed, but the chill is in the air, so I don't know if you want to go swimming anyway right now, Alan.
No, I think we had enough water today falling from the sky, and we're done with the rain. That's a good thing. More importantly, we are done with the severe weather. So there's the radar showing the steady rain heading to the east of our area. However, inland, you'll still see an isolated shower tonight. And look at the dozens of reports of storm damage. The reports are still coming in part because people don't always assess it and report it. Notice a lot of it clustered along the I-10 corridor back into southern Mississippi. And as active as our weather was, it was way more active to the west last night. So overall, I think we did okay. And to this point, all the damage reports I've seen, straight line wind damage, not tornadoes to this point. There's a live view at Battleship Memorial Park. The sky is Battleship gray. The temperature there, 71 degrees. That west to southwest wind will become northwesterly tonight. It'll push the dew point down, and as the dew point goes down, we'll see temperatures going down into the 50s tonight, 40s tomorrow night. I'll have your weekend forecast coming up.
Thanks, Alan. Well, no matter what the time of day or what the weather is doing, you can always be first to know about severe weather by downloading our free First Alert weather app. It's available for download for Apple and Android devices.
New at 5 o'clock, the suspect in the Pittsburgh Synagogue shooting pleaded not guilty today. 46-year-old Robert Bowers also requested a jury trial during his brief appearance in federal court. He was arraigned on 44 counts, including murder, as well as hate crimes. Prosecutors say they will pursue the death penalty in the case for the massacre at the Tree of Life Synagogue Saturday that killed 11 people and wounded 6 more. Funerals continue for the victims, including a couple who had been married for 62 years. Now, it's possible that dogs bred and trained in the state of Alabama could have foiled a shooting like the one in Pittsburgh. Special explosives detecting dogs, considered the best in the world, are now being developed to detect firearms, too. The dogs are bred at Auburn University, where researchers have also developed and patented a detection technique called vapor wake. The dogs spend about a year at Auburn, and then they go to Anniston, Alabama, for further training. There, a company called WKRG develops the dog's vapor wake capabilities. These dogs learn to detect explosives in body heat plumes that follow people. Therefore, they can detect moving targets like suicide bombers, making them the perfect detection tool in large moving crowds.
Our vaporwave dogs are obedient to the odor itself and not people or objects.
So therefore, groups of people as they come through can be screened at one time, making it efficient and not impeding the flow of people, for example, in mass transit or at large sporting events and other venues.
And these dogs can also detect firearms. Tonight in a special report on News 5 at 10, we'll take you to Auburn and to Anniston, where you will see the dogs in training and meet the people who have bred these dogs and who have developed their unique capabilities. Learn why these dogs are considered the gold standard in detection worldwide.
Just a day after a driver in Indiana was charged for hitting and killing 3 students at a school bus stop, a driver in Tampa's in jail for hitting 5 people while they were waiting for the school bus. The accident happened around 8 o'clock this morning. The 3 kids and 2 adults were rushed to the hospital. Tampa police say the group was standing on the side of the street waiting for the bus when that car just slammed into them. The driver was arrested at the scene. Investigators in Indonesia say they have found one of the flight recorders from a jet that crashed just 13 minutes after takeoff. The Lion airplane went down into the sea on Monday. 189 people were on board. Investigators are checking to see whether this is a breakthrough they have been looking for to determine what caused the almost new passenger jet to fall out of the sky.
Coming up on News 5 at 5, some call it the eye exam of the future. The high-tech way doctors are screening for other health problems, all in one test.
And then many parents think the best car for their teen driver is one that's small and cheap. Why safety experts say that's a big mistake.